Today I'd like to tell you about a little building in my hometown called the Klondike. Now the Klondike sits on the main drag in Old Town St. Helens. It's 3 stories, it's a faded yellow building. Up until recently it operated as solely a restaurant on the first level. But the history of the building and the experiences that we had in it are far different than just the normal small town restaurant that it was. St. Helens Hotel is what it was originally called, built in 1909. That was back when St. Helens was a port town, the port town before Portland. Before the fires that took out the docks and the shipyards. And like every small port town, you have the legends, the urban legends, mind you, of prostitution, Shanghaiing, organized gangsters. So first I want to tell you about a couple of those little urban legends before I get into my experiences within the building. So on the second floor, as the urban legend states, a man had hired a lady of the night to come up. The lady's husband found out, and there was a encounter in the hallway in front of the room, where the man who had paid for the room was using the woman as a human shield. The husband was trying to fight, get his wife out of there. As the story goes, a minister came to try to talk some sense into the man. A gun was brought out. There was a scuffle. And the minister lay dead in the hallway. Now, there's different variants of the same story. The husband was killed, and it was a knife. The man who had procured the Lady of the Night's services was the one who was killed. And in some stories, the lady herself was shot and killed and died in the hallway. Are these real? Are these just urban legends? It's hard to say. It's been a little difficult to find anything on this case. Another one of the wonderful urban legends is downstairs in the basement area. There's a washer, a dryer, there's a lot of storage for outdoor stuff. Areas of the restaurant that weren't being used were basically used as storage. So the upstairs, the basement. One of the little rooms off on the basement floor, the workers called the abortion room. Because as urban legend dictates in this situation, the prostitutes would go into the, quote, abortion room to take care of matters so that they would not have to be raising children of sailors. Now, a lot of people called it the abortion room because they heard, a lot of people would claim that they could hear children crying in this room, and that there was a woman's spirit who wandered the downstairs basement asking about her child. Now again, this is not stuff that is wildly known, documented, and it's hard to say if it's real or if it's just imagination of workers cleaning up, getting ready at midnight, 1 a.m. for the next day. I was able to do a public investigation with a group of people. And at this point in my paranormal career, I had been thinking about giving it up, moving on. doing something different. But this night really did change everything. So we started downstairs. We had the general powwow. Broke up into teams. Led us through with all the gear, what to look for, how to do things. My group started on the 3rd floor. We went back to a room. We had a medium with us in our group. And I'm running a thermal camera around the room. There's a chair in the middle of the room with some chalk, some angels, some crystals, various different things. At the time, I did not hear it, but on the playback of the audio, the man that was leading this investigation for our group asked if anybody had seen the chalk move. I said that I was running thermal and I really couldn't make out the chalk from everything else. It was a cold October night. The upstairs is not heated. And as we're sitting around and we're discussing this chalk being moved on the audio, when I went back to listen to it later, there was a voice that said, "Hi, I did." And it was a man's voice. So, of course, we did not hear that at the time. So we go down to the 2nd floor. We wrap up our investigation. The psychic medium says, "I see a man holding a woman hostage in the corner of the room. He's scared of us." Now, mind you, I had heard that urban legend from somebody who used to work at the restaurant. That person had not been working for the restaurant for a couple of years before the paranormal group was doing their public-led investigation. Coincidence? Could be. Or it might not be an urban legend. So we move down to the 2nd floor. And as I'm walking down the staircase, I glance over into her room and I see a little child, about 8 or 9 years old, wearing, I would say, 1930s dress. And he's peeking around the door frame at me. And then he immediately jumps back into the room. Well, I didn't have any cameras on me at the time. I went to look in the room. It was just full of storage materials. The room did not branch off anywhere else. It was just a dead end. We go downstairs. We're working on more EVPs. Spirit Box is saying a bunch of interesting things. The abortion room caught my attention. And again, I knew about this from somebody who had worked at the Klondike years beforehand. And the psychic medium was saying, as she's looking into that room, I hear children crying. Again, coincidence or not? So as we're doing the EVPs, we're doing the Spirit Box session. We've got voices coming over the Spirit Box. We're trying to figure out who it is. It's men's voices, women's voices. We go back up to the restaurant area. We're wrapping up the night. And as we're wrapping it up, I hear footsteps on the floor above us. I ask the host, is everybody downstairs? Yep, everyone's downstairs. I point this out to a bunch of other people. Do you hear this footsteps up top? Somebody's up there walking around, and everyone's like, yes, we can hear this. And it was the psychic medium happened to say it was a man with heavy work boots on, stomping around, which it actually did sound like a man with heavy work boots stomping around. Now, some encounters that people were having within the Klondike. The abortion room in the basement. The restaurant level also has the bar in it. And a lot of people who worked in the bar said that glasses would fly off the countertop and smash on the floor. The place has been closed down. We've been trying to get inside because now we have better gear. We've got a better idea what we're doing. I did get a report of the caretaker. The caretaker had gone over to my buddy's whiskey bar. And this is about Halloween Town. So the guy comes over to the whiskey bar, says, I quit my job today. I'm not caretaking that building anymore. Shows the bartender a picture of a misty figure in the downstairs basement area by the abortion room. The guy says, I heard a woman say, where's my baby? And then I heard a baby crying. And he turned around and snapped a picture with his camera. And that's when he got the figure in the mist. I have not been able to locate the man or the owners of the building to get in. But the Klondike's always going to sit on that corner. And I'll always wonder what's peeking out the people below.